We're here on Gibraltar, and so we are not going to get that draw, and that's why I said the last map is a test court. As long as Spark won, and this series was going to be decided here in map 7.
That's right.
And, oh, we can't have a draw anymore.
Nope, Gladiators on the attack. So this is it. It's going to be the last map in the series. See how far the Gladiators can go. The damage flying back and forth already, and it's going to be both teams losing members on board with hydration as he backs up, gives the Spark a little bit more room to maneuver. Spark on defense, though, so the Gladiators, between the Spark and a hard place. Roar and Void, though, counteract this now, and Spark, the ones having to regroup for a late point A defense.
All right, that's what you want to do if you're the Spark. Now, you lost your Moira, so you need to go in because your primary form of sustain is now missing, and they have spawn advantage. So really favorable trade to trade your Reaper for the Moira if you are the Los Angeles Gladiators. Not just because of the spawn distance, but because it forces the Hangzhou Spark to play really aggressively to get more picks because they can't fight a sustained battle without that heal.
Yeah, for sure. Last defense on point A for the Spark. If you look at the ult economy, about even for both teams. Hydration, ooh, just jumps through the team, doesn't connect with anybody, but now Bebe down. Takes a knuckle shot, and he's out. Nice right click on the Bezzy, loads that one up, and another one, Hydration. Getting a lot of finishing blows here at the end of point A, and Spark unable to really come up with anything of their own. One on Surefour at the end, but that's point A taken by the Gladiators already.
Yep, pretty fast, point A. And now Gladiators also going to be trying to find some of these split spawns. They're going to get anything right now. Bebe is hiding underneath, has to fade back to the rest of his team, but they're not going to be able to punish any of those forward spawns. Hangzhou Spark getting a bit lucky right there.
Yeah. Coalescence available for Shaz, going to use it right away as they try to capitalize on the fact that Bebe does not have his. Kazi looking for a place to drop, going to go down right in front of the Reaper up to the high ground to try to stay safe, but it doesn't matter. His entire team is dead. And that payload's going to keep moving forward.
I mean, the Meteor Strike just caused the Doomfist to go missing for that entire fight. And by the time he selected a target, it was Surefour who had Wraith form up. So, you know, Gladiators are fighting a 6 versus 5, and you get no damage done, and you have no pick potential. Well, your Doomfist is in outer space.
Well, that is the thing. Do you think he actually goes to outer space?
Probably.
How does he breathe?
Well, he's not up there for very long.
I suppose he just holds his breath. Why not? Bazzi gets a couple here as Hangzhou Sparks start to get to put together a little bit of a defense. Surefour though, and Shaz want to change all that. Death Blossom, he's going to go ahead and use it. Oh, stunned out of it though. Not this time, Surefour. The Spark able to get a defensive win, finally.
Yeah,
and get a little bit of breathing room on this payload.
The first team fight win so far here on their Gibraltar defense. Comes at the right time, though, and especially because of their ult economy. I mean, look at this. They're going to have 5 ults. So now they'll have the best chance to stabilize. They've got the high ground on B. So probably going to be feeling pretty good.
If Doomfist does go to space, why doesn't he just take the satellite into orbit? What's the point of this map, then?
Well, he's not part of Overwatch, so I don't think he would be the one taking that satellite up.
Well, why doesn't he just go up and punch it out of the sky, though?
Maybe he does. In the future.
He does? That's what he does, punching satellites? Why not? Here we go. The fight has commenced. It's going to be sound bearer for both sides. Bezzy with an early one on his Surefour. Coalescence flying all over the place, and hydration down. So Spark doing okay so far. Godsby picks up one, looking for another one here, saving that Death Blossom too. So the Spark starting to win fights, but more importantly, starting to win fights efficiently.
Yeah, looking good here. As fast as that push was from the Gladiators there, this is a hard position to be on Gibraltar, which is when you stall out late on B, because you're playing through these 4 tiny little choke points. Really hard to get in without taking a bunch of damage or straight up dying.
Yep. Oh, Reaper v Reaper. Godsby still sitting on that Death Blossom. Now he's going to go ahead and use it. The kill's already coming in for the Spark, and that's another occasion where one ultimate leads to a win, and Big Goose, can they maybe take him down?
That's how you play it, though.
Nope.
You know they're coming through those choke points. Godsby was already there. He gets the drop because they don't check the corner, so he forces the first Wraith form, sees Surefour come out of Wraith form, and then has an excellent chance to use the Death Blossom behind an Orisa barrier.
And I will say, on these payload maps, we have seen the Spark look good on defense for the most part. They've either stopped the Gladiators completely or taken them more or less to overtime in a lot of these pushes. Fight again. The Gladiators have to burn some ultimates here. Gravitiflux being lined up. Void. not really able to find a good one, I don't think. We'll see. Hydration gets the kill into Bebe anyway. That's the rock coming in, and now Spark starting to lose members. Gladiators finally finding the fights that they need to take point A, but it's cost them a lot of ultimates, and Spark looks like they're just going to save theirs. Why not, man? They burned a lot of time off the time bank on B.
I think it's a major win, especially with how fast A went in the first part of B for the Hangzhou Spark to stall out for this long.
Yeah.
You held them to under 3 minutes on a long point on C.
Ooh.
You're coming in with an ult economy.
That's bold. Where'd Rhea?
I think he had to reset.
Split spawn, probably.
Yeah, I think he reset after the split spawn.
Yep.
So now some free payload movement, but there is going to be a Reaper deep in enemy territory. Godsby is behind the payload right now, looking for that chance to get the pincer.
Yeah, actually being the sneaky Reaper.
He's gonna have a good chance to just teleport in.
Yep.
There we go.
Teleports in onto the payload. Stops the payload completely. Oh, but the Gladiators going aggressive. They don't see the Reaper there, and they take the opportunity.
Yes. And that's another good call. We've seen this same shot call from the Gladiators time and time again.
Yep.
Where they're counting people very fast, and they're understanding that if there isn't a Reaper, because the Spark have overemphasized the flank, they no longer have that mind game. Because in the Gladiators' heads right now, it's, is the Reaper there? No. That he's trying to flank us right now, so we have a very small time window just to engage on the front line. And because the Hangzhou Spark haven't varied their strategy, it's just working for free.
Absolutely right. Hydration getting in the back lines now. Here comes the Meteor Strike. Ultimates getting used for both sides. Bazzi right on top of him, maybe? No, avoids it this time. Hydration with 2, though. Gets both supports in 1 Meteor Strike. That is huge. The sound barrier doing nothing for the Hangzhou Spark, and the Gladiators on the verge of finishing this push. I might get it right here.
Got some decent value, though. They killed the Reaper, so Sure4 is down. Can they get it? Gonna try and stall now with the Wrecking Ball. Looks like it's not gonna be a stall here for the Spark.
Yeah, not much of one anyway, as it is only the Wrecking Ball on the payload right now. They're gonna be able to get in just barely with the Reinhardt and the Reaper, actually. Gushue swapping over, Hydration down, so Bezzy maybe opening something up here. Godsby taken out, and Sure4 just on the payload with that Death Blossom, gets one into Bezzy anyway. And the Spark trying to defend, but they just can't get the kills in the end, it seems. It takes a while. The Wrecking Ball down, 42 seconds on the clock. The Gladiators finish.
Could have been a really fast map for the Gladiators, but fortunately for the Spark, they had some solid defenses in B. The Gladiators are reading them really well right now, and if you're the Spark, you have to make in-game tactical adaptations.
Right.
You know, you can't always just have your Reaper on the flank and think that the Gladiators aren't going to punish you for that.
Let's check out this Hydration 2K from the end. IDK is like, all right, got a sound barrier. No!
Ooh. Great timing. Excellent timing on that.
Yeah. That is probably one of the best Doomfist ults we've seen today.
And there have been a lot of good ones because the synergy between Sigma and Doomfist, the Sigma ultimate gives you time to channel the Doomfist ult. So you are going to see a lot of very deadly combos between those two heroes throughout these playoffs.
Yep. Now it's going to be the Sparks' turn to go on the attack. The Gladiators get the finish. Less than a minute remaining, but finish is a finish. As long as you do it, a little bit of time remaining. That always does make things a bit easier in the end. Looks like we might actually see a Symmetra defense from the Gladiators. Interesting. Is he gonna just move some people to the high ground?
It's a trick defense.
Yeah, I was gonna say, move some people over there, get the swap, and he's gonna come back in on the Doomfist, who can make a lot of progress quickly. So
remember when I joked about how nobody ever tries to play an aggressive A defense on Gibraltar?
Yeah, well, here we go. Spark, and they're not gonna be able to check that with a Hanzo Sonic Air or anything either. Not gonna use it. Roar, just sitting there with this shield. They know what's up. So the Spark, how are they gonna break this now? That's the question. Hydration waiting. He can get back behind the tanks here. That's exactly what he's going to do. Nice rock! The accretion stuns him out. And that is what they have been doing all day, man. Ryu was ready for him, but can they win the fight? That's the question here. As he loads up the rocket punch, not quite able to connect with anyone on that one, but the Gladiators, you know, down their Doomfist. That's going to be a bit of a problem. People push back towards the Hangzhou spawn. At this point, there goes Big Goose. So slowly, they're starting to eliminate the members of the Gladiators. Punching the tank off the payload there. Bazzi's still doing work. Oh, ready for Hydration again. Those rocket punches denied 2 times in a row as he tried to engage a Spark. not phased by the aggressive defense for the Gladiators.
But they got almost a minute off the clock before the payload even moved, Doa. So, I mean, is that a win? We're going to find out how many team fights they're going to get. Because if they can get a team fight just on the other side of Car Wash here, and they might be able to get another one at the end of the point, then you're going to see some really good value for that stall.
Right. They're going to get at least that one at the top of the hill. Here, Big Goose. Meanwhile, getting in there, pushes Godsby away from his team. Bezzy a little bit low. Meteor Strike coming in. Shaz, Coalescence. Here we go. Roar can't take the heat. Meanwhile, Hydration sure for the DPS players of the Gladiators carrying the team to a defensive win here. 2:20 on the clock now for the Spark.
And they're definitely going to get a couple more chances at a defense here. So this bold play from the Gladiators is going to end up being pretty successful, even if the Spark take this point, simply because of the amount of time they've eliminated from the clock.
That's the best case scenario for the Gladiators. It's like you said, that early defense meant they get not just one more, but now, you know, potentially way more than that.
Yeah. Especially with the payload sliding backwards right here, depending on, you know, who dies and win. It's a possibility they can respawn and come back. Oh, man.
Oh, I mean, the high ground was taken here, and that might be a problem for the Gladiators. Godsby not getting really too much done. His teammates, meanwhile, a lot of kills on the Gladiators here, and that was just some great maneuvering by the Spark to turn this into a defensive fight in their favor with the high ground.
And here's the big question, though. Are they going to get through these doors in time to stall this payload and force another fight? Because that means at that point, A defense has some value. And it looks like they're not quite going to get...
More fight.
Oh, they're going to go for it.
One more fight from the Gladiators. They're going to try it here. Roar into the point. There's a sound barrier, though. They get that out. That's a win for Gladiators already. Big Goose does fall. Hydration can't really get much done. Roar's going to drop eventually here. Shaz did get the kill on the Bazzi, though, and Void coming back on this one. I don't know, man. It just seems like a little bit too much for the Gladiators to handle, but I've spoken too soon. They did get the sound barrier at the last moment from Big Goose. And can they push the Spark back? They've done it. What a defense for the Gladiators, and they've been doing that all day.
Wow. Talk about knowing your limits from the Gladiators on Rialto. They had an epic defense. They're still going on this one. Sherpor's going to come in. Yet. Death Blossom up soon.
Quick regroup from the Spark, and they're back in there. Going to try to draw more ultimates out from the Gladiators. Sherpor with the Death Blossom grabs two, and the Gladiators now, they've got the defense wrapped up, and that is some incredible stopping from the Gladiators there.
I mean, you look at the Rialto, you look at this one, stunning defenses from the Gladiators, fully justifying that very aggressive A defense. Now Gladiators on the cusp of taking this series. Hangzhou Spark, they've got this fight, and only this fight, 10 seconds. You gotta get a big Death Blossom here. Something has to work for them. Godsby gonna try and teleport in.
It is win or go to the lower bracket. Godsby's Death Blossom is gonna try to keep them alive in this series. Can they possibly do it? Death Blossom comes in, sure for the one, getting the kills though. Meanwhile, Void, all right. Gets some damage done with his ultimate. Sherpor down, the Spark trying to win this fight. The map wouldn't be over in their favor, but they'd get to keep pushing at least. Hydration taken
big
out.
Slam.
That's a big gravitic flux, and that's some big damage coming in for the Spark. They're going to take A.
Oh, boy.
They are not done yet.
So close. They get 2.5 more minutes, but they must finish this map still.
Well, you're going to have so little time on point C. You need to be basically untouched through B to really have any hope of staying in this one.
Yeah, you definitely do. But at least they have high ground control. They didn't get any split spawns. They're not going to have that edge, and actually it looks like high ground will be ceded to the Gladiators. Here we go.
Now we'll see, man. Shaz coming in the back. It's going to be the sound barrier early. That's going to lead to a kill on Hydration. The Spark just a bit too durable here. And now Godsby going after the tanks in the back line. He caught Void with his back turn, but the damage not enough quite yet. Meteor Strike comes in. Godsby with a kill on Void in the meantime. On board with the Reaper for the Spark right now. Oh, but Shaz turns it around with a 2K on the Coalescence. Looking for a bit more. Bezzy's still in the fight, and he's going to equalize onto Hydration. Gladiators trading blows, but it looks like it's going to be LA who might have to regroup here. Yeah, backing away.
They are
allowing a bit more distance.
They are, but it's a 5 versus 3, and Doomfist is back. So now it's going to be the Spark that are going to get their members for free through the choke, but they did technically lose that team fight.
Yep. All right. Death Blossom gets used by Sherpor, and hey, you know what? That's a lot of damage to capitalize on. The Spark Gonna have to regroup, and they're only gonna have a minute after this.
Another Reaper flank that was punished. The time the Godsby spent attempting to get into that back line. Gladiators see the opportunity again. Supercharger into Death Blossom to devastate the Spark front line.
Yeah, the strategic agility that the Gladiators have in terms of pulling the trigger real fast, like you said, when they see they've got the man advantage.
I mean, the Spark have made themselves easy to read.
They really have. They've had a game plan coming into this one that they can't adjust on it. Hydration, though, they've been good at stopping him. Gets out barely with that Meteor Strike. Gets a little bit of shields when he comes down here. And Bebe down. Hydration finds a kill in the end anyway. Down to 25 seconds. It is getting grim for the Hangzhou Spark. It was a long shot, but it's getting even longer. That said, a kill on Void. They lose IDK, though, and Gladiators trying to stay in this fight with the sound barrier. They're going to do it. And it's 10 seconds for the Spark. I don't even know if Hangzhou's going to get another fight here. Can anyone even get back to the payload?
Warrior's going to have to fade onto it.
Yeah, Bebe gonna fade, immediately going to get halted out and killed, and overtime barely started by Bebe's efforts there. It's going to be the Wrecking Ball. Rhea back on the payload right now, but it's never going to be a 6v6 again for the Spark. That said, they got a kill onto Hydration, but Bezzy down right after that. Surefour trying to seal this one away, trying to get the win for the Gladiators, and he's going to help them do just that. It's only the Coalescence from Bebe to contend with, and that's it. The Gladiators have won their first